Hello, everybody. My name is Amol Patel. You're watching the Smoking Hot Coffee Show, where we talk to entrepreneurs and startup founders covering monetization, design, and marketing. I'm joined with...
Hey guys, I'm Jeff Pelton and I'm down here in San Diego.
And so, Jeff, we got another great interview with Ryan Hunt from SessionM. Tell us a little about what exactly does SessionM do?
Yeah, SessionM is awesome. They have a free SDK for developers to put in their mobile apps. And what this does is it adds gamification, gaming mechanics like badges and achievements so that your users can be rewarded for the actions that they're already taking in your app every day. Sometimes it's something just like opening it, or sometimes it's something difficult that you had to earn.
Well, hold on a second. What are these rewards? Rewards. Is this some bullshit? What are we going to get here?
Yep. So, you get that fuzzy feeling from, having earned the badge, right. Having achieved the challenge. Okay. But there's also monetary rewards. So you get M points. Okay. On their network, and you can take those to the marketplace and return them for gift cards, okay. Amazon dollars and iTunes dollars, among a few others.
Wait a second. So if I want to buy stuff on Amazon, Amazon's got everything. I can actually use this app and maybe opening it or playing the game or checking out some new movies.
Yeah, these have to be the most valuable achievement points you can earn anywhere. It's really smart.
Wow. So this isn't a bullshit badge. This is like real deal stuff.
Yeah, exactly. It's really rewarding you for being engaged with the apps that you do every day. So a couple examples real quick. There's not just games, but things like radio apps and even magazines. Okay. So imagine if you could get paid to flip the pages in the magazines you read anyways.
Okay. Well, that sounds awesome. So one of their big apps that use them is Crackle. Crackle has a ton of great movies. So if I want to watch an awesome movie on my app, or a Seinfeld episode, let's say, I can actually get rewarded for watching a Seinfeld show?
Exactly.
Wow, this is pretty great. So this sounds like a really awesome way for a small developer, small team to try to get some money out of their app if they're getting some traction.
Yeah, exactly. I hope any startup founders listening, entrepreneurs or developers with mobile apps take keen ear and listen to how they can use tools like this or others to really add an extra monetization channel and another way of engaging with your users. It's really multifaceted, the value that it returns, because they also have things like polling that you can do, and there's other great ways that we mentioned you can engage with your users using an engagement network like this.
And so the founder, Lars, was actually his earlier startup, or his company, was bought by Apple and was the foundation for iAds, which is the banner serving and tracking mechanism for iOS.
Right. So these guys definitely know about the mobile ad marketplace.
Yeah. So he definitely is an expert in that space, and he got tired of the fact that it's just a plain old banner, and this is his sort of startup to try to change that landscape. So in my opinion, Jeff, this stuff is huge. In the next few months, the next coming years, this is where it's going to be at in terms of advertising.
Well, this should make you happy. I think at the Ad Tech conference and otherwise, you've asked quite a few times, like, when are we going to get interactive ads back? Like, the flash ads and things that are more engaging, that aren't just trying to bait you into clicking on something, but actually might, return a little bit of value. And they have that. So it's great that we're finally moving that way. It's evolving. We also chat with Ryan, are going to chat with him about the mobile hardware and operating system landscape, Android versus iPhone, and how that's looking. And as we know, mobile is just exploding right now, and we're still barely trying to figure out how to keep up with it. And this is definitely one of the cutting edge tools.
Absolutely. And so this is all virgin territory, lots of great land, Wild West. This is another great interview. Please check it out. We've got Ryan on from SessionM. He's going to tell us about what it takes for a small guy without the big money to break through and start making money off of his game or some app that he's developed for Android or iOS. Tell us, Ryan, what's the secrets of making money in the App Store, man?
Yeah, if I knew every secret, I wouldn't be working for a company. I'd be out starting my own deal. But there's certainly, plenty of companies like SessionM, like others that are in the mobile space that are trying to help developers monetize, as well as retain and gamify, and all these hot words that are being thrown around right now.
Okay, so
mobile
give
space
us
is super hot right now.
So give us something that's hot, that's working right now. Like, what is really working for the little guy? in the app store?
Yeah. I think platforms that offer gamification is really hot right now. Applying gamification defined would be using game mechanics, leveling up, badging, rewards, those types of things that gamers have done and game developers have done for their users in order to bring their user back and kind of keep them involved and really kind of integrated into the whole kind of app and feel of the gameplay. And gamification is really interesting because gamification can be used for games as well. People kind of think of games as already being a game, so why would I need to gamify it anymore?
Right.
But gamification in itself is really more of like, what else can you offer the user besides your kind of virtual currency that you've already got in there? There's things around retention, rewarding, badges that you can give to people they can show off on their social networks, which helps with virality and organic,
get those shares
of your app.
Those shares are crucial. Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah. So listen, man, everybody's got a Facebook like button and a Twitter tweet button and all those other fucking buttons. What does it take to really get these people to share? Like, what really is working, man?
Yeah, it's more like, traditionally with Facebook marketing, people were like, get this farm stuff off of my news feed. I'm tired of hearing it. And then Facebook had to change their rules around it,
right?
Because there was too much, kind of spam, essentially. They spammed out their own network. So really, you need to, if you're going to post something on Facebook or Twitter now, you actually have to be kind of engaged with it, right? You actually have to feel like, I really want to do this. Not because I need to get to the next level so I can build a bigger farm, but like you really want your friends to join because you think this game kicks ass or you think this app is like really cool and you wish you had more people in it.
Oh, now you're talking my language. What does that take now in 2013? What does that take?
Like sincere, credible.
Yeah, you know what it takes? It takes honestly a good app. It can't just be garbage. You can't just make this app that's going to completely rely on social virality to drive it. There's got to be material and content behind it that actually brings that. And I know this isn't some genius idea that I have, but using these gamification and retention kind of products that are out there on the market will help you kind of bring that there. And with some of these gamification tools, there's a company called beintoo that's out there, which happens to be a competitor of my company. But I noticed the other day I was using a game that beintoo is integrated into, and I got to a point in the game where it was like a natural break in the action. It was kind of like between levels or between kind of gameplay. And a Starbucks coupon popped up, and it said, "Hey, there's a Starbucks 0.2 miles away from where you're standing right now. If you go in 5 minutes." And it was a geo-fenced ad, which I thought was crazy tech. And I showed up within I think the 20 minutes, or I forgot what it was, and I got $5 off. Which is
that's fucking great!
Free coffee, right?
That is fucking great.
So I was blown away by that, and obviously we took notice to that at our company. We think a geo-fenced ad is great.
This is great, man. Is there any way we can geo-fence my next date? There's this hot chick at the sandwich shop. You gotta head over there right now.
Exactly right. But the question behind that becomes scalability. I mean, who are you going to be able to get to sign on to that? I mean, Starbucks is great, right? They've got a Starbucks on every street corner in every major city. That's easy to do. For other advertisers, that's not really going to work out. But I think it's different ads like that are going to be a lot more prevalent here in the next 6 to 12 months to the next 3 to 5 years is where we're going to see a lot more interactive stuff.
Yeah, in other words, what you're saying is we got to change the way we're thinking, like be more creative about what we can do with these advertisements in mobile, right?
Yeah, Jeff, you're absolutely right.
I think you're just like barely at the tip of the iceberg of what might be possible.
Yeah, I mean the smartphone's only 5 years old, right? I mean we're talking about a piece of tech that's closer to you than any other piece of tech in the world. The laptop that I'm talking to you on right now is probably going to be extinct within 5 years or so. I mean that's kind of a bold guess, but I wouldn't be surprised if tablets and phones just
let me say something here. So that Starbucks ad, that was pretty cool. What other examples have you seen that are really kind of pushing the envelope here in the mobile space?
Yeah, the traditional mobile ad has been a banner that sits at the bottom of a screen, and the majority of those clicks are accidental. I think banner ads are the past. If you look at a company like Zynga, they'll make a game for 99 cents. They'll also make it for free. The one that's for free has banner ads in it, and the ones that have that are 99 cents is essentially just get the banner ads off of my screen because I'm tired of seeing it.
I will pay to remove these ads.
Yeah, does that mean it's only worth $1?
Yeah. See, that's the funny thing is they're probably making more money off the free version with the ads in there.
Yeah, I would think
that's
so.
not the point. The users have spoken and they've said that I'm tired of these stupid ads that I'm accidentally clicking on, and being brought to these pages that I don't care about. Okay. Which goes back, Jeff, to your point. We need to get rid of what we traditionally know as ads. We need to move on to something that's more engaging, and something that the user's actually happy to interact with, right? So, not to plug SessionM too much, but we're doing something completely out of the box and different.
Right, let's hear it.
Our ad unit exists within the gamification and rewards layer that's built into our network of publishers. And the ad that shows up, the majority of them are incentivized with our virtual currency, but the quality of user they're getting out of it is great from the advertiser side because it's not just a banner ad. We have our own in-house game designer that literally makes mini games for some of our advertisers. So advertisers that are thinking a little bit out of the box and they say, I could throw a couple billion of these banner ad impressions everywhere, or I could highly direct this mini game, essentially like a driving game or a shooting game or whatever it may be, to drive kind of more brand awareness for my ad.
That's awesome.
As well as video ads and social polls and all types of stuff. So I think the ad companies that are thinking a little bit out of the box, the video guys that are out there, the interactive ads where it's literally a geo-fenced ad that's on a timer. Stuff that
the context, I think, is huge. Anytime you can add context is just, honing in on that potential customer.
Totally.
There have been many times where I've gone out and I'm standing around at a bar or at some club and I'm waiting to try to get a drink. I pop out my cell phone, and it'd be so great if I started getting, there's a lot of lovely ladies within 4 walking steps, sponsored by vodka, absolute, a free, first round on us, and I just. Honestly, man, I think there's so much in the dating world that could be used, especially with the whole geo thing, man. And
there's no question. I think we're just getting now down to big data that's starting to make sense, and we're starting to figure out what can you do with this data. Certainly something that the ad networks need to do primarily so that they can turn around and sell that to these big brands. And I think that makes
when you're at a supermarket, you're shopping around, you're on the cereal aisle, we know that you bought Rice Krispies last week. We got a new fucking flavor. I don't know, man. It might get a little creepy because this phone is knowing wherever I'm at. It might be a little bit privacy intensive, but I honestly think the rewards might be worth it.
Yeah, I agree. And you know what? How creepy would it be if, not creepy, but how awesome would it be if almost every ad you saw was actually relevant to you? I think that's the reason why these people are willing to pay money to get rid of ads in games. If the ads were interactive and fun and rewarding and you got stuff out of it, and also the ads were super, relevant to what you want to do in your life, I don't think you'd be too unhappy with giving up some of your, what we call private or personal information in order to know what's going on. I think that's the reason why Facebook will ultimately prevail, because they do know a lot about you, and the ads will get better. And their targeting is all that they push. And
being able to segment based on people's interests and demographics and everything is invaluable, you're saying?
Yeah, as soon as we get over this whole oh my God, they know everything about me thing, where we as consumers are going to be smarter about what we actually put on social media. You shouldn't feel bad about advertisers advertising against it. I didn't even know that Mos Def was playing a show in San Francisco last year until a Facebook ad popped up, and I said, oh my God, he's my favorite artist. I'm going to go see him. This is great. Thank you, Facebook, for putting together an ad that was relevant. I haven't been terribly impressed with their ad product since. I know it's going to get better, but it comes back to targeting and what we know about it. So I think the ad networks that are creative and can use this data in a responsible and fun way for users are going to tear it up.
All right, so how does SessionM help the little guy connect with the big brand advertisers and their ad agencies with all the. These guys have so much money, it's ungodly. And these little guys are like, got these awesome technologies, but they have sometimes a hard time connecting. Like, where do you guys fit in there?
Yeah, thanks. And what we wanted to do, our founder founded iAd. So before Apple bought Quattro Wireless, which is my founder's previous company, so they brought him in. They called it iAd. He kind of got tired of the banner space, thought it was a little too stale, and our SessionM's entire kind of purpose and deal here, besides rewarding users and creating this gamification and all the stuff we've previously talked about, is to help big brands get into mobile in kind of a seamless and easy way. Okay. So what we do is, our SDK is completely free. If you just go to our website, sign up for a publisher account, you can throw it in your app, and you're already ready to go. Okay. But we sell the ad space that it exists within the inventory that we create, through this retention gamification layer that we talked about a little bit, and these full-on custom ad units, whether they be mini games or polls or videos or whatever it is, and we have a dedicated ad sales team that's got connections to all the big media outlets out there. So for you as a small developer, you can try and rely on some cross promotion. You can try and rely on some sort of paid cross promo across you and your friends' apps, and get creative or throw banners in there. But ultimately, I think the things that reward your user and keep them happy are going to be things that are highly targeted, fun for them to interact with, and something that rewards them and gives them back for using your app and using the ads that are actually within there that they're happy to see. So, you're not going to get the millions of dollars of spend on an ad network from any of the small players. You need to go after the top tier advertisers that are out there, like Volvo and Adidas and Ford and Stoli, like you talked about, Amul. So, and native is very hard to do. So partnering with an ad network that has those connections, but also has something a little bit different to offer versus the standard banner stuff that's been traditionally out there that users are starting to revolt a little bit against. I think that's the best way to go for not the small guys, not just the small guys or the big guys or the medium guys, for everybody.
For everybody, okay.
That's how we're going to change the ad game for the better for everyone on mobile devices.
That's great.
Awesome. Glad to hear the little guys can jump right in for free.
Yeah, and that's the idea. Startups. We bring the monetization layer with the ads, and that's a great thing for a lot of people, and that's going to be relevant to how many users you have, obviously, and all that. But we bring so much more. We bring, the gamification layer.
Yeah. So does that actually bring retention to people's apps then?
Yeah. Yeah. If imagine if you use this app, let's say once or twice a week or once or twice a month. But if you knew that if I opened this app and explored a little bit within this app, and I could get a free $5 Amazon gift card out of it after a month or so, I think you probably want to come back and explore a little bit more.
Oh, yes.
Right? I mean, who doesn't like free stuff?
Yeah, so let's quickly tell everyone what the rewards are like on SessionM.
That sounds great.
Yeah, so the rewards that we put in there for ease of use are largely digital gift cards. And obviously the most popular ones have been iTunes gift cards and Amazon gift cards, just because, what doesn't Amazon sell, and how awesome is the iTunes store?
Yeah. It's basically cash.
It's essentially
for
cash.
us geeks.
Yeah, we're giving you money for hanging out and using the apps that you already like, and then we offer you sponsored experiences to get even more of our endpoints, our virtual currency. And then if for some reason, out of the 30 different gift cards that we have in our marketplace, if you're not really into it, but we're giving away an iPad this week, you can enter your endpoints into a sweepstakes to get the iPad. And then we've also got a charitable donation part.
So for those of us that are a little newbie in this area, what exactly is an endpoint?
What is an endpoint?
Yes. You mentioned rewards for an endpoint.
Oh, endpoints.
Yeah.
SessionM, right?
Yeah, it's our SessionM virtual currency, or endpoints.
Yeah.
So you accrue these endpoints, which is basically arbitrary, but it's got a monetary value associated with it for opening apps, exploring more within apps, and then interacting with some ads if you want. It's a totally opt-in experience. If you don't like it, you can get rid of it and you'll never see it on your favorite apps ever again. But it's kind of like we want to get big enough to the point to where everyone's got a few apps on their phone that have endpoints enabled, and you can start collecting free gift cards hopefully as soon as possible.
How is that
So you
coming along?
collect the points across the apps even.
Yeah, your balance, your endpoints kind of bank exists across all the different apps. So if you've got a couple hundred points here, a couple thousand points here, you can watch your balance actually stay updated across.
That leads me into the traction. How's SessionM doing with traction? I mean, you guys get a fair amount of developers on board using this endpoints?
Yeah, we started, we came out of stealth in March of 2012. And so it's been about a year outside of the stealth mode. And we've got almost 100 apps on board now, and that's from the really small game guys that have maybe a couple thousand daily active users, upwards of apps that have millions of daily active users.
What's a big one? Give us an example of one.
Pandora, they're one of them they're using us. Yeah, that's a big win for us. We've got a couple of major gaming guys that I can't quite spell the names out, but when it does go live, it's sure to be one of those headline makers that we'll do some PR around.
Okay, well let's talk Pandora. Pandora's huge, man. That's massive.
And so is MTV News. They're one of our big publishers as well. The Weather Channel's another one of our publishers too. So you can see that, and then Fluic Entertainment. I don't know if you guys have heard any of their games. They've got Office Jerk and Office Zombie, and they got a new game that just came out. So let
me get this straight.
So it's interesting. You're saying not just video games, but also content publishers like MTV News.
Yeah, exactly.
Way to think about engagement and rewards and achievements for a content publisher like a magazine.
Exactly. So for example, Sony's Crackle is a really cool app. If you don't have that one, that's one of the must-owns for me out there. It's free. And all of Sony's content, Seinfeld. All the movies that they've put out, all the TV shows that they're behind, it's basically all for free that you can stream on your mobile device, which is really cool. But they were having retention issues. They were having issues with people coming in and not being able to come back in the next 15 days and kind of getting bored. But those apps are always changing. They're always evolving. There's always new content coming on there. So they reward their users with M-Points, our virtual currency, to keep the user engaged and keep them exploring the app.
What's an example, like when you open up the app, that kind of thing?
Yeah, so the achievement list in Crackle is really robust. There's some really easy ones to get, like just open the app once a day and you get points for it. And then there's other stuff that you got to dig in and find. Like let your Twitter followers know that you're watching something on Crackle, or watch a drama, watch a comedy.
So you're reminding people to come check for new content. As you're talking about the achievement list, like I'm familiar, you and I played Halo back in the day. The kids on Xbox traditionally, sometimes the achievement list is really something that it's like a checklist for them. It's like start at the top, and until they complete it, they're not happy, and that's the sort of like ultra gamification. Have you found that sort of behavior with any of these apps? Where do you find any super users that are like aggressively trying to check every achievement off the list? And and I guess that relates to actual dollars. So how does that work with the monetary values actually there?
Yeah, Jeff, you hit it on the head, man. I mean, that's what we're all about. We're all about finding these mobile power users, and that's what we sell back to these advertisers. I mean, these users that are within the SessionM layer are extremely dedicated power users on mobile. They exhibit, even though about 30% of all of the users within the SessionM network are actually opting into the M-Points layer, our gamification layer, they make up well over half, close to 60% of the actual usage of those apps.
That's very interesting. So those are heavy users.
They're all very heavy power users, and they, like Jeff said, much like the Halo player that wants to get to the next level by defeating different levels within Halo and beating 50 grunts or destroying 10 tanks, whatever those achievements are. We've essentially gamified that for not just the game advertisers, because it's obvious the gamification that you brought up with Halo, but like I mentioned with apps like Sony's Crackle and MTV News, you set up those same kind of achievement lists. And one of our founders actually came from the MMO space to help us kind of manage our virtual currency, as well as what kind of achievements we put in and all that type of thing. So yeah, it's pretty incredible, the users that we have in our network. We've got casual users that are just collecting points every once in a while, and then we've got guys that just are burning through points like you wouldn't believe. And we had some really cool stories last Christmas of people who they couldn't really afford kind of all the gifts that they wanted to give their kids, and they spent hours and hours burning through endpoints and could afford to get gift cards to Amazon and other
awesome
ones in our marketplace, and got to get some extra gifts for their kids.
Wow.
I was hearing that type of stuff. I mean, right?
Yeah, this is awesome. So this is my next question. You've got this network. Do you have your users going and actively searching for other apps that support endpoints? Because I'm now in the endpoint world and ecosystem. I've got an account. I'm accruing points for MTV and Pandora. Now every game I play, I'm not going to play it unless it has endpoints.
Exactly.
So are you guys creating a directory, or is there a way for me to find those apps?
Yeah. So we don't publish a full master list. There's kind of legal reasons behind that, but we do offer many really cool ways to find out what else there are. So within the endpoints user portal, we call, within all these apps, we have like a Get Apps tab where you can click that tab, and then we start showing some of our kind of featured new apps that just came on board. So that's a cool way to learn about endpoints. The other ones are we obviously do some kind of PR, in the traditional media sense. But then we also do some more paid discovery. So if you're an endpoints publisher and you've got SessionM in your app, you can also buy more users across the network of endpoints, and we offer that as a discount to our publishers. And if you think about it, if you're going to be advertising across a network of users that are kind of endpoints hungry, like yourself,
exactly,
the dollar's not going to go any further or any better than advertising across those said users, which are very retentive.
Engaged, like you're saying. You're not just going to get someone to download it and install it. You're going to get them to download it, install it, and if they like it, because of the endpoints, they're likely to stay retained and not just like drip off.
Totally. And you know what? Even if you had a download and all they did was use your app to get endpoints out of it, you would have never kept that user in organically, ever. They would have got over your content. They would have deleted you. But maybe you've got this guy who just wants to collect a ton of endpoints. So now they're going to go through your achievement list. They're going to start using your app as much as possible. And those are more and more ad impressions. They're going to be showed to this person that you would have never got any revenue back in the first place. That's awesome. And that's like way out. That's an outlier. The majority of the users that are coming in and using these apps are stoked on the content, and they're using it all the time, whether or not there's endpoints in there or not. So we've got a ton of great content on our network, and it's out there to kind of show these users what's hot, and that's why we want to get them in.
Listen, man, I'm all for trying to bribe people to start using your stuff, man. I'm all for that, especially in certain areas where it's super competitive, I mean, in the App Store, getting visibility is so freaking hard now, man. I mean, getting in that top 20, top 30 is impossible sometimes. The only way to break through, like we were talking to a guy that's #1 in the music section for his karaoke app, is getting people to share on Facebook and Twitter. And so if you got to bribe them with these endpoints to get them to share, then more power to you, man.
Yeah, and bribe's a strong word, I guess. It's more like reward. But I know what you mean, though, right? And actually, you can't incentivize Facebook likes, so that's kind of something that's changed from Facebook, and I think that's a good call. But we can definitely reward social virality of you telling your friends, and I feel like you wouldn't tell your friends. You wouldn't want to kind of hamper their newsfeed, or you don't want to just completely spam your Twitter followers unless you really do feel good about it and want your friends to check it out.
That's true.
So it's more like let's spread the word of the stuff you like, and if you do that, we'll hook you up and take care.
Right. Do you guys have Best Buy as one of your gift card vendors?
I'm not quite sure.
Oh, I was gonna say I'm gonna get on SessionM tonight.
Cool. So, what do you think about the interactive ads? I know you always ask about the interactivity of ads. it's awesome they have it. I mean, do you want to tell us about the consumer polls that I just noticed you guys had a press release today in the Wall Street Journal about that?
Yeah.
Yeah. So today we released this really cool new product where if you're a SessionM publisher, you got endpoints in your app, you can put together a poll to learn more about the user data, which we can also use for retargeting purposes on the ad side if you'd like. But essentially, if you're curious about what your user base thinks about any sort of topic you want, you can run an incentivized poll, which is really easy. It's a one-click touch for the user to kind of submit their answer and get some endpoints. But it's a great way for you to learn more about, hey, are there things about my game I should optimize? Or am I not showing a video?
This is great for the indie developers, right?
Yeah.
I mean, the indie guys that need a feedback loop, I mean, plus it's already incentivized and plugged into this whole marketplace.
Yeah, and that just came out today, and it's a real easy kind of self-serve type thing. You don't need to talk to a single human if you don't want, or you can give me a call and I can help you out with that. But it's all on there, and it's super easy to do. And then if you want to run it not just across your own app, but across our entire network of apps, obviously there's a fee associated with that. But you can run that and get even more data just about the world in itself. And
what are you seeing on the usage side with Amazon? We've got Google Play, we've got the obviously Android, we've got iOS. What are you guys seeing in terms of numbers, installs, mobile usage? What are you guys seeing on the inside?
Mobile usage is going to continue to grow for I don't know if you can even comprehend how long it's going to continue to grow. It's definitely going to be the hottest tech medium that we've seen in our lifetime, I believe. And as far as usage on the OSs go, I think Android is going to start to get a few more eyeballs on there. I think the iterations of the Android OS have been monumental in every single release they've done. I personally own an iPhone and love the way it works, but I think the reason I use it is because of how well the actual hardware works. I used to own an Android phone, and it was a little too fragmented, slow. The widgets didn't quite work the way they do, and I just recently played with the HTC One, and I haven't played with the Galaxy S4 yet, but I think the new Android phones are fantastic, and when my next upgrade is coming up, I'm gonna be hard pressed to see what happens. But
glad to hear it. A lot of us are gonna make this iPhone our last one. It sounds like.
Yeah, I've been hearing that a lot.
Those early adopter developer type people, at least.
Yeah, and I think there's also something to be said for the iTunes Store too. I mean, there's a reason that iPhone users monetize almost 3 times better, and I think it's because they're kind of a different, maybe premium user, not to kind of take a shot at any of you Android owners out there, but I also think the iTunes Store is just got such an easy kind of payment wall. It's so easy to click and keep going, whereas I think Google Checkout still has a little bit of hurdles to get over. The other cool thing I think is like Amazon. Since Android is open source, I think the Amazon, Kindle, Fire, and the Amazon Web Store or App Store, are fantastic, and I think they've done a really good job. And obviously, those users on Android are kind of the cream of the Android crop, and I think those kind of mirror, some of the high-end iTunes users.
Okay, good to know.
So, what is next for SessionM and your role in SessionM? What's next for you guys?
Yeah, it's a great question. We're still a startup and still kind of figuring out what the landscape looks like, but it's going to be continue to iterate and grow, continue to keep our users delighted and happy with what's to offer, from both the endpoints side to what's in our marketplace, and then keeping our publishers as informed with what's hot in the marketplace, keeping the top tier developers happy with the monetization and the retention and the gamification products, and also our ad sales team, who's starting to really tear it up out there and get some of the top tier brand dollars to get it in there to keep the pubs happy on our side. And then as far as mobile ads on a whole, I just think we need to start. There's a time and place and certain apps that are great for banner ads, and it makes sense. But I think we all need to kind of open our minds a little bit and start getting creative with some of these ads, like some of the ones we talked about on this program. And the big brand spend will come. In 2012, I think the major marketing associations were saying that 4% of your spend should be on mobile, and I believe for 2013, the kind of going number that they're talking about is between 10 and 12%. You're talking possibly 300%. Growth on mobile, and that number is going to continue to grow. I mean, if you think about it, why would you spend money on a billboard on a freeway where you get absolutely no metrics from that, when you can spend that kind of money on an interactive poll, let's say, and you can actually get some user feedback and do some ad retargeting and keep your users happy with an advertising experience, so that they're not kind of pissed about everything.
You know what? You just brought up something. We just interviewed a guy that's running the retargeter company in San Fran. What's your feeling with these banners that are following you around and all that kind? What's your sense of all the retargeting?
If it's done in a PC way, I guess you could say, politically correct. I mean, not personal computing. There's rules behind it. There's personal identification, software that you can use to block that type of stuff if you want. Like I said earlier, if you're freely putting things out there and you're okay with being tracked, I think there's opt-out with a lot of those followers too, the retargeting. If you're okay with it, then you should be happy that you're going to be seeing ads that are a little bit more relevant to what your life is. That's me personally. I don't put anything on any kind of social media, or I don't click on stuff that I'm ashamed to have follow me around. But that's just me, and everyone's kind of a little bit different. With some of the newer kind of ad platforms like ourselves and some of our competitors here on the mobile landscape, we make everything 100% opt-in. And I think having opt-in ability is really kind of the future. If you get users that are like, yes, go ahead and track me and follow me, as long as I stay in, as long as I enjoy what I'm seeing, then you can continue to do that. So then it becomes, the onus is back on the ad networks to kind of do a good job with the data that you have.
Exactly.
If you do that correctly, I don't think anyone's going to be unhappy.
I think you nailed it, man. I think you totally nailed it. You're absolutely right. Yes.
Those opt-ins are the most valuable people, or subscribers.
Totally, yeah. And if you can find a network full of opt-in users that are willfully being targeted and tracked, and also providing you great feedback, that's gold for everybody. The publisher, the ad network, the advertiser. Everyone's happy in that situation. So I think as we get closer and closer to blurring those lines even more of what's not okay and what's okay, and like what's PC and what's not, and the users who are a little bit more savvy with technology as a whole, the entire kind of advertising world will just flourish.
Wow, this is really cutting edge stuff, man. It's gonna be exciting times next 5-10 years, man.
That's right. It's going to be exciting in the next 6 months. I mean, wait till this next holiday season comes around. It's going to be different than it was in 2012. There's going to just be all types of crazy stuff going on.
Geofencing.
I like the geofencing stuff.
With all the shopping stuff. Yeah, I mean, it's just crazy to think where we are now, and all the mobile advertising. I think when Will and I were at the AdTech conference, everyone's talking about it as this sort of like hidden thing. Like people don't quite know how to handle all this mobile traffic and eyeballs yet. And like you said, these banner ads are so annoying that they're just trying to like bait you into accidentally clicking it. And I'm looking forward to hopefully someone like you guys figuring this out and making it more engaging and interesting and less ugly for us end consumers, our eyeballs.
Yeah, definitely. And I think it's not just going to be us, but we also need the help from the advertisers and the agencies themselves on the big brand side. I think they need to. Sometimes they move a little bit slowly, and I understand that there's planning and a lot of dollars that come from them, so they need to plan accordingly.
This is a whole new beast, bro. This is a whole new territory. Lars has taken on a whole other land, man.
He has, and we need the help from everyone to kind of realize that, hey, this is such a growing space that you guys need to experiment and test. How else can you learn what's new out there besides testing and seeing what works? And we're certainly an out-of-the-box type network, and there's plenty other of us out there that people need to test it. And if it works, great. You should continue to spend there.
So with that, what are some good online resources where we can see some more of these innovative fenced and some of these interesting ideas? Are there any sites out there where we can see some examples, or do you guys have case studies? What's a good place to go?
Yeah, SessionM.com, our website. We've got case studies that are completely, we don't even reference our own product in there. It's just cool stuff about mobile PAL users. The MMA, the Mobile Marketing Association, they publish a ton of good stuff on there. And then, you know, I'm a frequent blog reader, TechCrunch and VentureBeat and all those good guys. I love them, and always reading up on what's going on with there. And of course, you know, smoking hot coffee. So,
awesome. All right. So with that, if people want to get a hold of you or SessionM, what's a good email to do that?
Yeah, SessionM.com, and then I'm Ryan at SessionM.com. If you got any questions about advertising or publishing or really anything that has to do with us and other resources that I can help out with, I'd love to help anyone.
Awesome.
So.
Yeah, thanks for being on. I mean, I hope that all of the startups and little guys listening, indie game developers, really should give your product a shot, because, like you said, it's a free SDK. Just throw it in there; it can't hurt. You're going to help, you know, retain your users and even do testing with like the polls. And there's just I think opens up a whole gateway to stuff that we haven't even thought about that can really help get your startup off the ground and monetize. Like we're talking about Pandora having such a hard time monetizing, and I think what you guys are doing is really necessary.
Yeah, definitely. And it's, you know, just to reiterate, not necessarily a full monetization product, because you know the banner ads
are supplemental though. I mean,
you know, yeah, they're gonna hit every single user, and we're not gonna hit every single one of your users. We're gonna have users that don't want to have anything to do with free stuff, even though it's free stuff.
Right. I see.
But the beauty part is that it's an opt-in network. So if they don't want anything to do with SessionM's endpoints, they can just hit an X and they'll never see us kind of ever again type thing.
It's all about engagement.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Very cool.
All right. Well, thanks again for being on the show, man. I really appreciate it.
And another thing, Ryan, too. Actually, we try to come back like in 6 months and follow up with you guys. You know, so hopefully we'll definitely do that and see where you guys are at. And I hope that we get more of these indie guys on board, and you'll get some more proof case studies from the big brands.
Definitely, would love to come back and do this again, without a doubt.
Awesome.
All right, bro. Thanks again, man.
Thanks, guys.
All right.
All right. I am Stock.